The rugby league off-season is usually characterised by atrocities like rooting dogs. This year, however, we've got our own version of wife swap, with South Sydney and Brisbane seemingly about to swap coaches. Wayne Bennett going to Souths, Anthony Seibold going to the Broncos. William, who does better in this?
It is very bizarre. I think I never expected this. I never thought Wayne would ever leave the Broncos after his little tenure in Newcastle. He got him to a grand final. He was a bee's dick off winning it, and obviously someone's sort of stabbing him in the back, so to speak, so I never thought that would ever happen. But I heard rumours years ago that he wanted to go to South before he went to Newcastle. And Seibold is a Brisbane junior. He played a couple of games up there, so obviously they want a new start, a new era. But I never would expect this, mate, especially from the Broncos, especially with Wayne Bennett. But I think Wayne wins out of this. He's going to inherit a team that was that close of getting to a grand final, and they've got exactly pretty much the same team next year, and they'll probably go one step further, and it'll make him an even greater person.
I look at Seibold. Now, Seibold, it was his rookie season this season, and he did a terrific job. South had a good side, but the Broncos, they're one of the flagship sides of the competition.
Yes.
For them to chase a rookie coach, and he is a rookie coach, he might be a terrific coach. I mean, he's got some runs on the board. Are you surprised that they went as hard after a bloke that's had one season?
Yeah, I am surprised because I don't think he's tested. He hasn't coached a really ordinary side. South were pretty much built before he even got there. He was assistant coach. He knew all the players. You got the Burgess brothers. You got GI. You got all these, Reynolds and all these fantastic players. But I just didn't think that the Broncos would chase him like this early and get rid of Wayne Bennett. You know what I mean? Like Wayne Bennett has got that side just right on the cusp of winning. Now, you see these players like Tavita Pangai Jr. They wanted to sign him for 5 years. Now look what happens. He signs for 12 months.
And
where do you think he's going?
Well, the interesting thing now is that they're talking in a big way about behind the scenes. There's big move.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about that is if the swap does happen straight away, Seibold would probably come out of it worse than Bennett because Bennett has said from the start he wants to coach the Broncos next year and onwards and upwards.
Well, the thing with Wayne is he's not gonna leave the Broncos and leave all his players that he's developed. He's going to take everyone down and leave the Broncos with nothing.
Souths are going to have to pay a big chunk of his contract too.
Souths are going to have to pay a big chunk. And I think, obviously the players are getting a little bit older at South, and he's going to bring down these new Polynesian kids that are just killing it, and they're just like... So I think, the Brisbane's going to lose out.
If you look at Souths, now there's talk recently that Seibold's off with the players. If you're a player, you've got a coach that's committed to you for 12 months, but he's going after that. If things are good, things are good. If the wheels start to fall off, you have to be thinking to yourself, I don't care what you say, you're going in 6 games.
And you need to be able to play for your coach. So people have no problem with playing for Wayne. But Seibold, it's a different kettle of fish, So it's going to be interesting to see how the South players sort of react to him. If they lose, 2 or 3 in a row, do they start doubting him, the club, the system, all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be up to Sam Burgess and George Burgess and, GI to sort of set them standards really early because they could be in trouble.
It's similar, I think, to Cleary and the situation with the West Tigers. Now, he signed again for 2 years down the track. That's not a tenable situation. No. So what the Tigers have done is they've
offered him is it a $10 million deal?
I think it was a 5-year deal. I don't know. It would be close
over 5 years.
So I don't know if it'd be 2 million. It'd be 1.5, something like that.
That's unbelievable.
Now, the interesting thing there is you've got a very similar person to Wayne Bennett who likes to control everything.
Yeah.
You've got Gus Gould who sacked Cleary. There's no other way.
That's what I can't believe. It's just okay, Wayne sacks you, and then obviously they've done something beyond. The board have done it, and they've gone, well, let's get Cleary back. Obviously, it's the relationship with the kid, with his son, and the team and everything like that. Obviously, he never wanted to leave, but like, it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. I think they're going to struggle next year because of that simple reason.
I love my old man. The idea of working with him on a day-to-day basis, I would rather stick pins in my eyes. It would last about a week, and then we'd want to bash each other. So
it's so weird. It's a weird sort of thing, and I know Gus pretty well, and he sacked him. So he obviously has bad blood there, and then obviously he's come back now. What's going to change?
So the rumours are that they've basically done that to ensure that Nathan Cleary stays at the club.
Yes, exactly, and that's the wrong reasons because you don't know how good Nathan Cleary is going to be. I think he's going to be a really good player, but I don't think he's going to be the next Jonathan Verse and Andrew Johns. I don't look at him like that. You know, it's a product of our lack of depth in the halfback situation, and that's why.
Coming
you
through.
know what I mean. They're giving him an opportunity really quick. 10 years ago, he would be like six or seven string halfback. He'd be nowhere near it.
Interestingly, again, you know what players are like around training.
Yeah.
You can love your coach, but your coach can do something, and everyone, the players go around and go, "What about this imbecile?" Blah blah blah. Now imagine it's Nathan Cleary, and the players are just venting,
It happens.
and they're bagging his old man. You know, it's a really difficult situation.
It's like, fuck the coach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But oh shit, that's your dad.
It's your dad.
But obviously, I think he's a really mature kid, and I don't think he'd take it personal. But it's going to happen.
And what about the reverse though? Just say they still live together, Nathan and Ivan Cleary.
Yeah.
Just say they live together. I mean, surely he's got to move out now. You see your old man 24 hours a day, but
And he's single, isn't he?
And he's single. You'd hope he's single. And then
My chin's bigger than his, bud.
it's you know what, he goes all right for a.
Yeah, but I'm 6'6", and my chin's
Your
massive.
chin is massive. Then Nathan Cleary's sitting at the dinner table, and Ivan Cleary goes, "You know what? I'm going to drop player X," and player X happens to be Nathan Cleary's best mate. It creates some really difficult situations for father and son.
Really weird, because he's obviously a father and son relationship. Obviously, they tell each other everything. Just because he's the coach and you're the player doesn't mean shit. You're still gonna go out there. Yeah, it's blood thicker than water, and you're gonna tell your son what's gonna happen. So he's gonna know all this little inside information that players don't know. So it's gonna be difficult. I just think it's the wrong decision.
I think the West Tigers probably come out of this. They've got Michael Maguire. Now, Michael Maguire, he probably only...
Yeah.
He's a 3 or 4 year at a club sort of coach.
Well, Madge what did he do at South? He won him a premiership, but he sets up good cultures and good values and everything like, and people play for him.
Yeah.
But then he's not that Wayne Bennett coach where he can coach for 25 years. You know, and that's a rarity. But he'll change the whole culture of the West Tigers. I think they win out of all this coaching little
wife swap.
Yeah, circus that's going on, wife swap. I think the Tigers come out on top.
And there's been a lot of talk about, you know, the
and
bus
South, obviously South, because they inherit Wayne Bennett and Wayne inherits South, and they've got a gun side.
If anyone who doesn't understand football wants to know the impact that Wayne Bennett has on players, they just have to watch our show to hear you talk about Wayne Bennett. You are consistently rapping Wayne Bennett.
Yeah,
now,
I just don't think people realise that they look at him on TV and they go, oh, you know, he looks like an arrogant prick. He's one-liners. That's his whole MO. Like he loves that. He loves that sort of thing. And people don't understand that unless you play underneath him and he's your coach. Then you understand him. And there's not one player that goes, Wayne Bennett's a prick. Not a chance. Every single player loves him. So like. South Sydney, they'll win out of all this.
So while we're talking about movements, player movement, it's 1st of November's been and gone. So now people are negotiating. They're allowed to talk to other clubs like they're not beforehand. But
they never do beforehand.
They definitely do not. It's just exactly on midnight.
Never ever done that.
100%. You played at every club too, so you had a few
never,
of those 1st of November.
Yeah, I just waited.
I reckon the David Clemmer one is probably the most... It's the biggest one because it'll happen potentially for next year. So Newcastle would absolutely love to have a player of Clemmer's quality.
They need a big body. And the Bulldogs, they haven't got the money to afford him. 1.2 mil a year compared to like, what, 600 or 700? Bulldogs fans need to understand he's got a family. He's put enough energy and commitment into the Bulldogs. And if he wants to go to Newcastle, Newcastle's going to offer him, it could change his whole life. Newcastle's on the up. I think the Bulldogs are pretty much on the down. If he goes, let him go. Don't come out and bag him and say you're not loyal, you're not this, you're not that. Like, have a look at his situation. He's busted his ass for the Bulldogs, for about 6 or 7 years. He's been their best forward. They play him 80 minutes a fucking game, which is too much. They play him in the middle, and I just think they're going to have to let him go because the money's too good, and I think it's wrong if they don't let him go. And I think he should sign with Newcastle because Newcastle is definitely on the up. Because you have a look at, Kalen Ponga, Mitchell Pearce, all these other young kids. They're about a 3 or 4 year away from at least a top 4 or grand final spot. So I hope Clem goes. For the Bulldogs, and as a former Bulldogs player, I hope he doesn't go, but I know that he will. But I just hope the fans don't come out and bag him and say, oh, he's not fucking loyal and all this sort of bullshit. He's been that loyal, and they fucked the whole club up because of the salary cap. Otherwise, they'd pay him. Simple. Otherwise, he's going to go.